the Nesiva Shalom, says there's two kinds of crying. There's a crying for the past, of recognizing what we don't have, what we lost, but that's only the beginning. The Bechi also has to be as an anticipation, an anxious desire to get back what we're lost and to build. You have to combine the two. It's not only crying over spilt milk, over what we don't have, but we have the ability to get it back. It's crying with a tremendous gaguim to be able to reclaim what we lost. Rav Aaron Kotler Zatzal says that just remembering what we lost and recognizing what it is, that in itself brings life to the Mikdash. And that's what it means, Kol HaMesabel Yerushalayim, Zoche V'roeh B'simchasa. A person who understands and recognizes what he lost and he's able to mesabel and to cry over Yerushalayim, then at that moment he's Zoche, he merits, not he'll merit in the future, to see what the Simcha is and to have an understanding of what he needs to get back. The Lakewood Mashgiach Rav Nosson Wachvogel, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, says the same idea of a person's mesabel, and he feels what he's missing and what's lacking in Klal Yisrael. Then the Ikra Avoda is to have tremendous gaguim, to have tremendous anticipation and tremendous desire to get it back. And that's the tikkun. The Darkei Musa goes one step further. That having that tremendous desire to regain what we're missing, regains it already partial. Just the desire itself helps to regain what we're missing partial. And therefore the Chassam Sofer says that the tears that we shed over Churban Abayis are the bricks. They form the bricks that will eventually build the Beis Hamikdash. The bricks are formed with our tears. So the more a person cries, the more the materials of rebuilding the Beis Hamikdash are provided. We are very, very far from that. How many of us could even cry b'chlal? Surely shed a tear. And when we hear about people who can, and did, and do, beyond our comprehension, speak for myself. Maybe you're not so far. But I'll tell you, somebody who wrote in his tzavah to his children, the Aderes, tell you what he said. And you see if you feel as removed from this as I do. Beyond my comprehension. Hope it's not beyond yours. Nefesh David, which is his tzavah, he writes, Nishtapakti al atzmi kama pomim. I wasn't sure if I have any connection to be a tzaddik, to be to tzidkes, to kedusha, to tahara, to ruchnius. And Chazal say in brachas that a person should check himself and try to find out what he's connected to. Does he have a connection to ruchnius, to tzidkes? And he says, "V'ani roeh ba'atzmi simonei tara v'yira shamayim." I found that I do have some simonim that seem to point to the fact that I do have some kind of tara and yira shamayim. What was it? Hein klos rabos v'harpitko shomos avru alai. Many tsaras passed over me. Lo aleichem. Shouldn't know from it. V'hein shitginu al sibeloes. They made me old before my time. Yelodim rabin niktifu ba'avid yemehem lo aleinu. I had many little children die in my lifetime. Even those things didn't make me cry suddenly. It took time till it sunk in and I cried over my loss. But you know what makes me cry immediately? When I remember Yerushalayim and the Beis Hamikdash, immediately I cry. Golus HaShechina, Golus HaTorah, Golus Yisrael. Asher berega hisbonenani b'mo. Zolgos einai dmos. When I think about it, I begin to cry and shed tears immediately. V'kasher ha'yisum atem bonei. Yelodim ktanim. If you remember when you were little children, he tells his children. V'ha'yisi omer lechanechem b'mitzvahs. And I wanted to teach you, mechanech you in mitzvahs. Derech sichosi mochem neilech o niske leilech lebeis hamikdash. And I mentioned someday we'll be zoche together to go to the Beis Hamikdash. Niske lalos l'regel will be zoche to go together, aliyah l'regel. Lispal b'mokom hamikdash v'hakodesh. Someday we'll go together and daven in the mokom hamikdash. Ukiyotze be'elu, kol pitputayu tavin, all these nice things I used to tell you when you were little children. Take up al asar nismalu einay dima me'ein hafugos. When I would speak to you about these things, I tell you my eyes would fill with tears. Ad ki boshti mi anoshim shomdu etzli, until I was embarrassed from the people around. See a grown man crying. V'chein gamata b'rega ksiva saturim ha'elu, while I'm writing this tzavah. Eini maleos dima shkvar olay aksiva, kosh koved olay aksiva. My eyes are so full of tears, hard for me to write. Mizani roa ki ruach tahara ve'yira, v'haneli kamora davua. From that I can see that I have some kind of kesher to tahara and to yira shamayim. Shalom nisrachakti chas v'sholom me'avodas Hashem yisbar v'toros ha'ktosha. V'ani sfila tamid yuchaneni Hashem b'chazlo v'chevloso. Olayla alos la'eretz ha'kodesh v'tara v'mehera v'mehera. He wrote this in Europe. Eventually he did make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael and died in Eretz Yisrael. But the Rebbeinu should give me the schus to be Ola Eretz HaKodesh, U'lesakein Sham b'sheiris yimei chayei, and to correct all the things I did during my life in those last few years that I'll be zocha to come to Eretz Yisrael. What kind of kesher do we have? That's what he tested himself, to see if he has a kesher to Kedusha, to Yira Shamayim. How much kesher do we have? When do our eyes fill with tears? Even tonight. It's Masugul, Bochel, Sichbe, Balayla. How many of us can cry? So Zalman Auerbach explains the minig in Yerushalayim, that people live in Yerushalayim, even in Harnof, even within the environs, even of the farthest limits of the city, even if they're away from the Kosel Hamaravi for more than 30 days, they don't tear Kriya. It's a minute. Anshe Yerushalayim, who haven't been at the Kosel for 30 days, don't tear Kriya. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach explained the minig in 3 ways. He said, first of all, somebody who lives so close to the Kosel and can't find himself to be there within 30 days, obviously he has no feeling for the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore he has no business tearing Kriya if he goes within 30 days. It doesn't matter if somebody who lives far away and he doesn't come, okay. But somebody who's so close and doesn't come, what kind of feeling does he have altogether? So he has no Indian to tear Kriya because obviously he has no feeling. Secondly, he says, he's not Roy to tear Kriya. You have to be somebody who's Roy to be Misabel on Yerushalayim. Somebody who's so close and doesn't come for 30 days is not Roy. So we don't let him tear Kriya. And thirdly, he says, this guy should be tearing Kriya for himself, his own Churban, not for Churban Yerushalayim. As the Chiddushei Arim says. It says in Shulchan Aruch, Roy lechol yirei shamayim, lios misabel umisonein tamid al churban beis mikdasheinu, and the Chiddushei Arim says, why dafka yirei shamayim? Everybody should do it. And he says, if you're not a yirei shamayim, then you should better be misabel on your own churban before you're worrying about the churban beis hamikdash.